What's going on? This is Chris Van Vliet, and you're watching Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast.
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the #1 podcast in the state of Hawaii, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I'm coming at you with another amazing interview. And in today's interview, I have the true honor and privilege of interviewing the one, the only, the legendary Isaiah Washington. Now, Mr. Washington has had a legendary career in acting, from being Dr. Preston Burke in Grey's Anatomy. He's also in The 100, he was in Hollywood Homicide, and so much more. And in this episode, we touched on many topics from acting, ADOS, economics, overcoming adversity, and more. So, if you're ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Let's bring the legendary Isaiah Washington onto the show. All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I have the true honor and privilege of having the one, the only, the legendary Isaiah Washington on the show. Isaiah, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
I think you just did. I can't follow up an introduction like that.
Oh man,
yeah, you did it better than I could have. I'm glad to be with you, man. I think I got your attention because of all the chatter recent in the last 3 or 4 weeks on Fox News and my stance against liberal media. I mean, that's really how all this started. I just felt unfairly attacked.
Yeah. Again,
basically tweeting about my personal experience with the former president. Mm-hmm. In fact, when he was Senator Barack Obama. In fact, I posted a Twitter letter that I received from Senator Joe Biden when I was on that big TV show. All these guys were after me. All of one of my support, at that time. So I know how the politics work. And now that I have Twitter and understand social media, I also know how to fight back when necessary and win. Yeah. Because, the things about politics, everybody's lying, but I'm not. Yeah. I have no interest in that. I have no interest in misrepresenting myself. I have no interest in speaking on things that I'm not informed about. At least I try very hard not to. I don't know everything and I don't want to know everything, but what I do know is what I know. And my truth is my truth. You can't change that. Yeah. And it can't be altered, although people tried to do it and attempted to do it over many years of the internet through yellow journalism.
I'm glad you said that. A lot of people don't know about yellow journalism.
Well, that's not the point. The yellow journalism is still very real. It's still much of a tactic for any people that consider themselves an activist or a free thinker or a person that is going to go against the grain, so to speak. We have a lot of surveillance capitalism in play where a lot of people it's beneficial that we do not think as individuals and not to be misconstrued with individuation. But there is the things under democratic socialism state that you can't be an individual. Yeah. And that is not the core principles of what so many people died for, so many people brought us over here slaves for. That's not the way to go. This is a capitalist nation, and it's going to remain a capitalist nation. Free market is going to always be the thing. And as you said earlier offline, your mom had the support and the wherewithal to be able to liberate you from your native city where you grew up. Yeah. And now you're in a different place. Yeah. I'm feeling very comfortable, thriving, family, and free from, exorbitant amount of violence, what have you. So that is, the pursuit of, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. So, although many men and women of color of African descent have gotten to this nation in a different way, we're here now.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, the Constitution belongs to me. I'm a former veteran. Okay, I did 4 years in the military. I prepared to die and risk my life for it, and for my beliefs and my core beliefs. So, as I've gotten older, I just realized that I have less and less tolerance for foolishness. And if I see something that is just inaccurate, it's just not the truth, then it sounds like, it's like every criminal situation, if you're in, it's like, if you see something, say something.
Right.
So that's pretty much where I'm at. With joining forces with Brandon Strzok and the hashtag Walk Away, is that I see something, I'm saying something. And I've been seeing something for 50 years. Not 50 years, but 41 years of my life. And very little has changed. Although there has been many advances for individuals, yes, that happen to be like African American, how we want to identify. It's not enough. It's not enough to point at all our greats. It's not enough to point at basketball players and entertainers. It's not enough to point at even me. We need more leadership and advocacy. We need more teachers. We need more doctors. We need real people that can advocate for real teachers getting a minimum of $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
At least. They've earned that at this point. If I were in political power, I would even raise the value of a police officer to make at least $150,000 a year. It's $40,000 is just not enough. It makes no sense. It just, in my mind, to have someone representing law, the color of law, and being frustrated because they're barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
Or they're being law enforcement by default.
Yeah.
You've already set up a cancerous situation. It can only get worse. Where they're treated with a lack of respect, putting their life at risk, and then watching their partners being mowed down by some street thug that's probably making $100,000 a week.
Yeah. And
they're dealing with that. So you're putting them in a situation where it's like no turning back.
Yeah.
How does someone really perform in the best moral and the best professional capacity dealing with those kinds of stimuli, dealing with those kinds of scenarios? Yes, somebody's going to start shaking somebody down. Yes, someone's going to start raiding some drug dealer. Dare him to say something about it because he's going to put him in federal penitentiary. Of course, they become, bed partners, because if they don't pay, then their business and their lives and their freedom is at risk. Now, this is something that's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
This is made movies about it, from the French Connection to Serpico to Miami Vice. Okay, there's always this fine line between criminality and law enforcement. We've all seen the TV shows, we've all seen the movies about it. But what we're not doing is doing something about it in real time. That those are a bunch of actors making us crap load more than actual law enforcement officer. And I really think the conversation need to be had to just giving these people a real big raise, at least $100,000.
Yeah.
It's just making $40,000 to try to get to a 20-year pension plan after about 10, 15 years. Is by the time they get to that 10 to 15 years, from my research, they're suffering from a form of post-traumatic stress themselves. So now they got to manage all of that. And I don't understand it. You want people to behave in a non-volatile and supposedly humane way, but you have them on the front lines dealing with the onslaught of inhumanity, which is a result of what our politicians refuse or unable to get done at the level, city by city, region by region, neighborhood by neighborhood. And what I've discovered is that, a lot of people already know what they need. They have the grassroots. They know what their community needs. It's just the funding. And I'm not so sure that you need to bigger government. It's that, people can come up with lottos. Where's that money coming from?
Yeah.
The lottery. People, all of a sudden, every election, people end up spending, $500 million. Where's that money coming from?
Yeah.
It's, at some point, some people going to have to realize, even myself, the affluent, is that the trickle-down theory is necessary. If you're not getting the tax breaks, okay, if you get the tax breaks, then employ more people. This level of selfishness has become a problem. The bias market has become a problem. It's that I'm in the buyer's position. I have the power, I have the money. I don't want to hire you, Mekel. I'm going to go to Mexico. Or I'm going to go to India. You have that right as a business person, but you can't say that you are a real American if you're operating that way.
Yeah.
If capitalism is one thing, but you can't claim both. You can't say you are a business person and a true patriot. You are doing everything out of your power to cut the cost to make more profits and not taking care of the people in your own country. And that's something that I just think is just backwards.
Yeah.
And how corporations deal with one of those supposedly the most incredible commodity that we should all have, and that's human resources.
Yeah.
And I just don't see people taking that seriously enough or giving people an opportunity to be exposed, to even have the experience. If you don't hire them, then they're not going to get experience. So you can't just, it's like, if you don't train or get people prepared in the public schools and they can't read, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
Problem. And we can't just fall back on, crack babies and millennials survive this. You've got a lot of millennials that have been raised by crack parents and are doing very, very well.
Yeah.
So you just put everybody, in a blanket, broad brush that way. I think most of what people have when we see this economic violence, I see those old communities where people are struggling to be drug kingpins. That's all part of what I call part of economic violence. Mm-hmm. That violence is there because of the economy. That violence is in that neighborhood because there's money. There's something being sold, there's a supply, and there's a demand.
Yeah.
If you're same people that can put together some weight and boil some crack or figure out how to surreptitiously use their skills to sell crystal meth or marijuana or pills of ecstasy, you can put them in the right position and give them the proper opportunity, and they can excel just as well on Wall Street.
Yeah.
The same skills, the same tenacity. It's just the opportunity is not there. Why is the opportunity not there? Well, we know why.
Yeah.
That falls under the definition of racism. Many people that look like us, we're not a part of that race. Haven't been. Racism is based on competition, economic competition, and control. Has nothing to do with bigotry or prejudice. It just makes me want to throw up in my mouth. All these people talk about, you're racist, you're black, you're reverse racism. Stop it, 45. You can't call a black journalist if she asks you a hard question a racist. All right? I'm not buying it. There's no way a black person in America could be racist. If they're bigoted and if they're prejudiced, that is response to racism of 400 years ago. You've trained us to hate your ass. You've had opportunities that you come in and burn down Black Wall Street, and then didn't want to acknowledge it. Don't even want to act like it never happened, So all these atrocities have happened on American soil, and the fact that you want to acknowledge through ADOS, through the American descent of enslaved people, then you're going to get what you're going to get. It's the wound is never going to heal. It's just one little Band-Aid over it. Not even a good stitch, actually. Yeah. The wound is very, very raw. And it gets raw every time someone turns 30. Every day someone turns 30 and they realize the American dream is a freaking American nightmare. I have 2 degrees and a PhD and I'm working at McDonald's. You're building a terrorist. You're building a domestic terrorist. You're building someone that has the information. You're building a Boko Haram. Most of the Boko Haram are former PhDs that couldn't get opportunities. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys that said, stop taking the oil out of our country and not cleaning up the Niger Delta. We got people who are dying and we're sick of it. Now they're going to hear me say that, Isaiah is a Boko Haram sympathizer. No, I'm not. I'm not a Boko Haram sympathizer. I can understand what makes a person become a terrorist. I can understand that if you bomb someone looking for someone who's following radical Islam and you bomb innocent people, and that survivor of the innocent people was the mother and the father, who do you think they're going to be angry with? Yeah. Whether they have anything to do with it or not. You just took their mother and father, their way of life. They're on the street. Now they're starving. Who is going to pick them up? ISIS. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it works. And every Crips and Bloods and Vice Lords, those who are disenfranchised and cast aside, will find a way to get some kind of appreciation, pat on the back, or what they think is love through a firearm. And they'll do whatever they have to do to feel authenticated by that groupthink that is going to provide food, shelter, or a sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with the levels and levels and years of economic violence, okay, then we can't have it both ways. We can't look at the violence and not look at the economy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm calling it economic violence. It's not just gun violence. The gun violence came out of some economic decision somewhere. Someone purchased those firearms, someone made them, and someone sold them to their community. So there's an economic conversation based on all violence.
Yeah.
Someone bought something somewhere and used it to hurt someone else, be it a drone, be it a bomb, be it an F-35, be it an F-16. There's a budget and people working in factories building these aircraft and these ships. We are not talking about that. No. We always go through the lowest common denominator, which would be the budget figure, and know that all of our pain comes out of economic violence. And when we're struggling for individualism, struggling for resources, then it's going to be violent. That's where the violence comes. In fact, that person is not able to eat. Or some people have a $20 million house and still complain about, I'm trying to put my kids through college. Well, who told you to live in a $20 million house? You have more money. Like a damn near, what, $35,000 a month for, or $50,000 a month for a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know, afford it, great, but you can't complain. It's out of context. You know, it makes no sense.
It makes me think of there was a post one of my friends put up on Facebook the other day. They say it's funny. I see people that make $12 an hour going on vacation all the time, but then I see people making $25 and $30 an hour and they're struggling. And I'm like, yeah, because the people making more try to live outside of their means.
Always, it always happens. It's inevitable. And that's something that I've learned in everything that I've gone through in the last 12 years. So one thing I've learned is I learned how to be broke again. Yeah. And now what I mean by that is I learned to live within my means and to really do that. And when I get luxury spending, even though I can afford it, I'm the last person that would do it in my family. My wife would have to make me go buy some new pants, a new shirt, or a new suit. I won't do it. I'll make sure they have everything they need. I'll make sure that, I'm been cooking every week and we have plenty of food to enjoy when I cook. I enjoy making my family feel happy and safe and clean and full and enjoy the things that I know when it wasn't that way. It could have been worse had I not invested in my own personal portfolio. That's why I tweet about Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab saved my life. When everything else went, sideways, I still had capital in my portfolio. I had other assets that I could sell off, buy well. You buy well or you can sell well. Yeah. Invest well or whatever it is. If you invest money on things that are going to appreciate, like art, if you sell it, great. Cars don't appreciate until years, okay? The Bentley is not going to appreciate. Cars, what you drive in your hoopty is not going to appreciate. Yeah. That's texting. I tweeted about people just whatever you're using in your household. If you can't afford the Google right now, which is $1,400 per share, save up for it and get one share. Make that the goal. Some people are spending $1,000 on Nike sneakers. Yeah. Post about holding 250. Okay, that's your prerogative. That's your right. That's an investment. But I'm not so sure that the Air Force Ones are a major asset unless you're going to send them back to Nike. And they're probably not going to ask you for them because they're making them for maybe $5 a shoe? Yeah. If that. Yeah. If that, in terms of how they got their production and manufacturing happening overseas. Yeah. Okay. That people still don't want to keep talking about. How many, let's just think about it. How many American jobs really are, I like to figure that out in terms of Apple and all these major companies. How many American jobs are being created for Americans compared to the jobs that are being created overseas? Again, it's their right. Yeah. But I don't think major organizations can continue to get federal subsidies when they're not employing our own people. Yeah. Something's wrong with that.
Yeah. That's something that I used to actually work for Microsoft, and I was part of their Microsoft Game Studios division back in, I want to say, 2012 up until about 2015. And I saw how, like, when it came to hiring new developers and coders and QA testers, we never went for people in America. It never went for people locally. It always went internationally. And I always had an issue with that because I kept telling them, like, they're very talented coders and QA testers here. When I was living in Redmond, Washington, nope, they always just went internationally, and it was something that always bugged me. And I saw it when I went and I worked for Apple, because I left Microsoft and went to Apple. I saw it there, and it's a trend with these big tech companies. I've heard.
Yeah, he jumped out of a frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
Because, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, they're the top 5, top 4.
Yeah.
That's controlling all of tech.
Yeah.
That way, and they do the business where they do it, they have their bottom line. That bottom line is going to bottom out. There's a lot of people that are, in America are suffering because of how they're operating their bottom line.
Yeah.
Don't know how long that's going to be able to continue. And then, even when people have very little hope, they still create enough capital. They got this thing called surveillance capitalism. So now they're changing your behavior to make you send you certain ads. So I get more phone calls from American Express. I block that call.
Yeah.
Another call says, "Oh, they're calling for an emergency, something else." I pick up, call the number back. "Hello, this is from America." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" Verizon has sold me out. I guess I didn't read the privacy policy. The privacy policy has changed. So yeah, but I don't fight it. I just block it and find a new number to call my number from. I block it. Like I spend all week blocking numbers from people calling me from all over the country, supposedly trying to sell me something. It's like I haven't seen it this bad since the 90s.
Yeah.
So we're right back in the 90s again, which is interesting because if this basically is 1999, then 2020 should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I remember year 2000, it didn't crash, we didn't have the end of the world.
I remember people were freaking out back in 99.
Right. People made so much money off of fear.
Yeah.
I even at the last minute I succumbed to it. Went and bought this rice and bags of rice and beans and this camouflage I throw over my car in case we end up in a forest somewhere. I bought all these guns. Man, Y2K, I took all that shit back to the gun store. I don't need all this. This is bullshit. I have been hacked. Marketing strategy to get me to spend my money.
Yeah.
And people have to understand. They have to have some intestinal fortitude and be disciplined and know that every 4 years, those ads going to hit the TV. They're going to lead you to think that Biden is the coolest thing on the planet. And he's not. He's not. No different than, Hillary Clinton. And it's like, no. Tangibles. What about reparations? Talk to me about what you're going to do for the Black agenda. Period. I don't want to hear anything else. Nothing against the immigrants. Nothing against the gay community. I'm glad they all got what they needed to get, as they should have during the Obama administration. Okay? Because they lobbied for it. They fought for it, but that dog, we've, ADOS, American descendants of slaves or enslaved people, we've been here waiting for a long time. This is something not new. This is something that Martin Luther King talked about. Federal subsidies were given to Caucasian people back in the 50s and 60s when they didn't even know how to farm. Why? Because the one thing white people know how to do that Black people don't seem to understand, they have a long-term understanding of what legacy is. Mm-hmm. What heritage is about, and they're prepared to do whatever it takes to make sure they survive. I don't know what's with us. Maybe we have too much melanin. We're laying in the sun too much, or we're too lackadaisical and laid back. Forced to become really ruthless by our nature, because it's just not in our nature. But I think at this point, I can't fault our counterparts, because they're doing everything right. They're doing everything they need to do to ensure their survival. And I just wish more people that had more melanin would start to think and feel the same way.
Yeah. It's one of the things like I've said, because we have a really big problem out here in Hawaii where you have, and I don't think it really gets out. A lot of people here in Hawaii, like they hate white people. They feel like they came and stole their lands. I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah, they did. But at the same time, like you have people in Hawaii, like a lot of the Hawaiians that refuse to go into like different education fields, different government fields, and the most that they will do is just get a job at like a CVS store or something like that, or like a McDonald's, and they don't strive for more. And then the education is bad, where you have people that drop out of school, middle school, ninth grade, eighth grade, and then they feel like there's no hope. And then I look at the people that are in government that are always running, that have been stuck in positions, and a lot of them are either Japanese or Chinese. And I had a conversation with my wife.
Right there in Hawaii?
Yeah. Yeah. The people that run the government in Hawaii are typically Japanese and Chinese.
Whoa.
But you have people that think that it's, the white people are running, or they call them haoles out here. They say, oh, they run everything out here. It's like, no, they're not the ones that's running. The people who are running it aren't publicly talking about themselves. And that's the ones you have to be, conscious of. Who's quiet? Because there's the people that are the loudest, and then there's the people that are the quietest. And typically the quiet ones are running shit. And so out here, there's a serious class divide. Like we've got, you go like the island I'm on Oahu. So if you're on the east side of the island, you got the upper class affluent area, which is primarily, older Japanese, older Chinese and whatnot. And then some local people. And then you go more towards the middle, then you got the melting pot of just about everyone. You go up north, it's primarily, again, Asian. You go to the left, the further left side, and you get to the more rural, poor areas. That's where you have a lot of the locals and a lot of Hawaiians, a lot of the Samoans and whatnot. And
you look at more and more Samoan.
I'm actually part from my mother's side.
Oh, but there it is.
Yeah. So it's something that I see, and people are just so quick to say they hate white people out here, and I'm like, you can, if that's what you want to do, fine, but learn the system that's put in place that people who are running the show are using, and use it to your advantage. Yeah. And I see it all the time. People say, "Oh, we need change out here in Hawaii." I'm like, okay, so get in office, be about change, do something to better your environment, and then they don't do it. And I'm like, so
you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, you can't.
To sit on the sideline and complain and do nothing gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a way to participate, and that's why I'm supporting Walkaway. I'm supporting the conservatives, because they get things done.
Yeah.
They know how to stay on message, and they get things done.
Yeah.
And that's not being a Republican. That's just being a conservative.
Yeah.
And I realize I've always been more like what they call a label centrist libertarian.
Yeah.
I've always been in the center. I've always been a centrist. I've never been full on. I've been, if anything, I was a blue dog Democrat. All these different labels. Just that there's a lot of things that supposedly the Republicans, conservatives are known for that I believe and support. I do believe, although religion doesn't work for me, but I do believe in morals and higher principles and belief in something larger than myself. Well, I do believe in meritocracy. If you work hard, then you deserve to get to the next step, the next level. You need to earn it to burn it. You know what I mean? You don't earn it, you don't get to burn it. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. And that's fair. Nepotism is real. I don't completely knock it, as long as you understand that those people that you're helping are helping others. You know what I mean? Everyone's busy taking care of themselves, but I just need to see more corporate social responsibility. The CSR is lacking these days. And the whole reason CSR was created in the private sector was because of these kinds of conversations we're having. Well, you should have done more than just 3 years, at Apple or Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's a reason you left or was pushed out.
Yeah.
There's a reason. And those are the things that I think we need to look at. That has nothing to do with politics. That's just capitalism and business, period. But still, if you get in a situation where you did have more humane people, then you're gonna have more humane choices being made across the board. Yeah. I still believe that you can make money and still be humane.
Yeah,
I've done it.
Yeah.
I don't get up in the morning wanting to beat people, bomb people, hurt people when I because of my economic struggles or my economic power. I don't create violence based on the economy.
Yeah,
I don't. That's not my thing. But I am aware of it, and when I see things going a little crazy or too crazy, or for me recently when I'm sitting there trying to help people and I'm going to be attacked for being at the White House helping people, oh, okay. Like I said, I've never started a fight in my life, but I sure know how to end it. Go to war. Okay. Well, I was over here minding my business. I asked Fox News to get on my tweets. I put up a whole bunch of tweets. It's just they cherry picked the one that would make them feel good to think that I was slamming Obama. I wasn't slamming Obama because I was at the White House. I have an organization, Artists and Athletes Alliance. The last 10 years, I can get to the White House anytime I want. That's what we do. You're in D.C., we can get you a tour. So the White House doesn't impress me other than the fact that slaves, black people, built it, and then it burned down and rebuilt it.
Yeah.
So I have a specific pride and claim to the White House because, enslaved people built it.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it. They built it for free. So this idea that black people in America has no specific justice claim, like reparations, we can't talk about it. It's total, utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Over. I think now you millennials deserve reparations more than I do. Because you have the skills and the technology to become entrepreneurs. The wealth gap is getting further and further away and wider and wider, and you have all this intellectual property walking around, all this talent and no capital.
Yeah.
All you need is the capital, and you can create whatever you want to create. And then be able to hire other people that you want to hire, that need a job. So that's what reparations is not a freaking handout. I don't want to hear that crap. It's not a handout. This is not the New Deal, which was a bad deal given to by Roosevelt.
Yeah.
It's horrible. We don't need any more welfare. More white people, more white males on welfare in America today than anybody else.
But you can't tell people that.
So, and I remember all the EBT cards that in New York that went out to the Hasidic communities and the Jewish communities. It's so bad in New York that they wouldn't even force them to come to the welfare office. They would go to their homes and give them the EBT cards.
Really? Oh, yes. Wow.
Research it. Hasidic, you can't say it because that's not anti-Semitic. It's the truth. I had a public official who works for Bloomberg, sitting at the top of the finance thing. It's like they're getting subsidized as immigrants. They have a new lovely family member that comes over, in the community from Israel, and they get welfare. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's
wow.
So if you are working or figuring out some kind of way to make some kind of capital, self-employed or whatever it is, that's still federal subsidizing. That's state subsidy. You need help. And all we're saying is, everyone's going to, whatever the money's going to be for reparations may not be able to handle it. We expect that. But at least the conversation is no longer on the table. Because once reparations have been paid out, whatever the $17 trillion goes out, you get your $50,000, $100,000 out there. You can prove through your genealogy that you are a descendant of enslaved people. You get your check, and then everybody shut the fuck up. Conversations about reparations. There's no more. If you got your $100,000 check and you didn't invest it well and you blew it, that conversation, you can't make white people feel bad anymore.
Yeah,
it's over. What else you got to talk about now? I really believe it has to happen, and I think the person who's could get it done, the master of the art of the deal himself, is Trump. I really believe it. I think he'll do it because he just gives 0 Fs. He just gives 0 Fs. It's all about him. He's a businessman. And I know people say, that's crazy. It'll never happen. Yeah. I was there at the East Room
Mm-hmm.
when the beginning of mass incarcerations ending. I saw free Black and white and poor Latino people on that stage. I saw it with my own eyes. I never thought I would live to see that. 3 strikes, the crime bill put together by Biden in 94. He's got the nerve to run for president. Man, I cannot wait. I cannot. I haven't been so excited to see a president that I don't agree with and not really sure that I really like, but I don't care. I'm so rebellious. I will do whatever I can to make sure that 45 wins in 2020, whatever I can, just so I can see the slack in these arrogant liberal faces. Just because my protest vote to not vote for 45 or Hillary Clinton was being part of the Green Party because I was disappointed in the nastiness. But now that I see some things that he's done that I can stand behind, it doesn't have to be my friend. It's business. The ending of mass incarceration that's been going on since Nixon, that's a good thing. And you just pissed me off by attacking me because I was sitting up here being a part of a good thing. So you want a war, or we're going to walk away.
Yeah.
We're going to walk away. We're going to walk away. And I'm not telling you where to walk to, but I don't want to even think about seeing a Democrat in that White House for the next 20 years. That's how much I'm pissed off. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to stop until the Democratic Party dissolves like the Whig Party. Go away. You're dead. It's over. You're a liar. You're cheats. You're thieves. You're has-beens. It's a wrap. It's over. No more, no mas. You haven't done a thing to change Black people's lives in 41 years. It's all lies.
Yeah.
You just told me a story offline and what your mother had to do to get you out of your circumstances in your lifetime. Too much blood is on your Democratic Party's hands. Seriously.
Yeah.
Their blood on their hands. Okay? ISIS was supported through the Obama administration. Separated by some other finaglings. Benghazi happened. People died on Hillary Clinton's watch.
Yeah.
You think the military that support me and my organization moving into with all the law enforcement that I talk to, former law, special ops, Deltas, Marines, they talk to me. And they tell me a completely different story. Don't even bring up Hillary Clinton, these guys. They're all worth $5 million a piece in their lethal training. Some of the most lethal human beings on the planet, and they can't even find a job now. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Okay? I'm aware of that, and I'm trying to do something about it. I'm trying to give these guys a mission. Okay? I'm creating Guns Matter Incorporated as a company so I can employ people and actually get it grown enough where people become members and shareholders so people can be employed, use the skills and not just be expected to go somewhere and disappear after they've done so much dirt for the government. The Democratic Party and under George W. Bush and under Clinton. They're like, and now you just cast them aside. Okay, we don't want you anymore, like Colin Powell. Colin Powell needs to be on my board. All that wealth of information, I'm not going to stop until I get Guns Matter Incorporated fully funded and off the ground so I can actually look to Colin Powell to be my Oliver North, what Oliver North is to the NRA.
Hey, I can see you doing it.
You know, so that's, like you said, people that are doing things are really quiet. The noisy stuff is the walk away. But the quiet stuff, the NRA TV can't wait for me to come back. Conservative views on NRA TV. They're going to get all kinds of eyeballs. And I'm going to talk about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to talk about Venezuela. I just got to get it in my head and figure out, because now I can fart and get a headline. You know, no, it's kind of like, you know, I'm like the only girl in the room that everybody wants to date right now. It's like, okay, you know, okay, NRA TV is like, I'm the darling, a right-wing darling overnight. He's like, I was like, hey man, you're going to Fox. Hey, we'll get used to it. It's like all of a sudden, Dr. Burke is here. We always knew we liked this guy. It's insane, man. It's insane, man. It's insane. But identity politics has really got us all screwed up. But there are a lot of conservatives out there that are not proud of everything that 45 does, and obviously everything that he says. They're embarrassed by it, like most of us are. So there's a lot of Black Republicans that I'm getting galvanized and excited here in the state of California that I'm going to stick by until one of them becomes a governor. Yeah. Or mayor. I'm done. I'm done with the Democrats, man. I'm done. I'm so done. Say it with me.
I'm done. Because I look at it.
Give me some evidence otherwise, or why it shouldn't be done. Show me.
Because here's the thing, because I see it out here in Hawaii, and I saw it in Memphis when I was living there, and it's this thing where, you have the Democrats, they've been in power, nothing's been done to help anyone, nothing's been done to change. So why not do something different? And it's almost like that. What's the definition of insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Different outcome. Yes, insanity. Yes.
Yeah, and people, they keep voting Democrat, and they keep getting the same thing. They keep being mad, but they're not mad at the Democratic Party for selling them, a bag of snake oil. They're mad at Republicans or liberals, or not liberals, Republicans, independents, or libertarians, but they're not mad at the party that's been bullshitting them for so long. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't.
I'm confused, but that's why I'm engaging the way I'm engaging, Mekel, because there are a lot of people out there. They know my heart. They know my body of work. They know I'm not insane. They know I'm not a bad person. They know I'm not violent. They know I'm not a criminal. So they may be confused, and I think the first 3 days they may want to call me a coon, but I think right about now, and I'm not backing off of it, they're forced to think.
Yeah.
And the thing that has happened with social media and creating a headline society, it's all emotion.
Yeah.
No one's using critical thinking anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been tweeting critical thinking by Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass. It's all there. You look at my timeline. Yep. I'm showing you where I'm headed. I'm showing you what these people were talking about, although Martin Luther King was democratic socialist. Mm-hmm. Okay, he had to be at that time because we had absolutely nothing. He was just trying to get people galvanized to sit together and get some kind of equality. It was completely unequal. Okay, but that was during that time. Now, it's not about socialism for us because we have a lot of Black people out here that are thoroughly capable and intellectually enough and sound enough to be able to just be entrepreneurs. Yeah. We have that. I know that exists. I can see it in you. You have the ability. You just don't have the capital gains. You don't have the access. But that's just because someone else is irresponsible. That may be a millennial doesn't make you irresponsible.
Yeah.
So I talked to this one millennial that really broke it down to me, and actually, I'm going to hire her, and I'm going to have her give me a series of 280 characters, and I want to start tweeting everything, her perspective of what it is being a millennial that's educated and still struggling to find a job, and almost 30.
Yeah. It's hard because I just recently, I turned 30 last year, and I'm very blessed to have the career that I have because I know a lot of people when they're my age, they're 30, 31, 32, and they have 1, 2, 3 degrees or masters, and they can't find a job, and it's mind blowing. And the career that I'm in, I have a degree in marketing and business, small business development, but I work in IT, and I kind of stumbled into that field because someone was like, yo, you're really smart with computers and this, and that. So why don't you try this? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it. It beat doing retail and working with, tech companies and seeing the BS that they had. And so I got the job at the hospital I work for now. and I've been there for almost 4 years now. You know, I'm the first. It's kind of funny because I'm the first black systems analyst for telephony in Hawaii, and I'm the first telephony analyst for that hospital. So, so it's
you're a pioneer.
yeah, and you know, I do that, and then I do my tech. I work with tech companies and stuff on the side independently. I do reviews and I market and work with companies. And one of the things that I've tried to do with people I know and with people that are interested in getting into entrepreneurship, because I'm doing that while having a career, because my career is my safety net for now. But I tell people, like, you can work and have a career and also do something you love and you're passionate about. Yeah, you're going to have sleepless nights. You're going to have.
Yeah, I always tell people, you can monetize your passion. It's never work.
Yeah.
It's never work.
And I'm trying to show people, like, if you want to get into the field of what I'm doing, I'll show you. I'll teach you. I'll take you under my wing. University of Hawaii actually reached out to me this week asking me if I would be interested in doing a series of lectures this coming semester, teaching their business and game development.
Well, my kid is that you may have to introduce my son soon because he's got a job at E3. He's at Full Sail University right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's all about coding right now. He says he's loving it. It's hard, but he's loving it.
Yeah.
He's loving it.
So.
And he's very outgoing guy, so he should be fine. He's not one of those guys. He's very likable. He's very very likable. So he's been making his moves, having a good time at Full Sail University so far. Yeah. Takes about 24 months to get your undergrad, another 24 months and you'll have your master's.
Yeah.
They go to school like rigorous schedule, man. They don't play, man. Yeah, he's down there in Orlando kicking butt. Proud of him. So, and I told him, I'm not raising you guys. I'm not raising you guys to be employees. I'm raising you guys to be CEOs.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. I don't. If you end up being employed by somebody, that's on you.
Yeah, but
you certainly wasn't raised to be. Nothing against being an employee.
Yeah.
But my goal for you and is to own your own shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels much better that way. It's a lot of work, but it's yours. And it may not last forever. Then again, it may be Microsoft. It may be Apple. It may be Google. It may be Amazon. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's yours.
Yeah.
And so far, so good.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Anything else?
Oh, I want to ask you about your podcast. Your podcast, I saw it. It's got 5-star ratings across the board. And for people who are wondering, the name of it, it's Isaiah Washington Speaks Again. And I wanted to ask you, like, how did you get into podcasting? Because I feel like it's an untapped market, but it's rapidly growing.
Yeah, I got into it because there was a guy, my producer. We slowed it down because it wasn't becoming profitable for him as my producer. He had to go focus on some other things because he's one of the few African American podcasters that owns his own company that base. So my thing is I got busy with some other things. I think that I got enough episodes out there that could introduce people to me when I was younger in the military. It's entertaining. But when I'm less busy on my new TV show and a number of things and walk away and all these other things that are taking up my energy, I'm going to go back to it. And just because I'm still on my podcast, it's going to be like my own living, listening autobiography of my life. So when I go back to it, I'm still 19 years old. I think I haven't even turned 20 yet. Podcast, it's podcast. The way I'm telling my story, it's like a song.
Yeah,
you can listen to it over and over again. It's not going to change. I'm not stuck in current events.
Yeah,
I'm not under the pressure of got to talk about the hot topics. Got to talk about the latest hot actor that's in Fox News named Isaiah Washington. I don't have that pressure of trying to be interesting in the now. I'm telling my life story. Which people said was very interesting, so I started to do it. And I'll get back to it. But I need to figure out a marketing strategy. So I want to drive it to the point where it's making, some revenue.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do that yet, or marketing, how to do that. And I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't even had time to figure it out. But the fact that it's still there, and I still have so much more to offer and talk about on it. I would love to go back and find the time with a producer. I really like working with him, but we need to. It needs to make money.
Yeah.
In the podcast world, it's so much out there.
Yeah.
So many podcasts out there. I just need to figure out how to take it and get more listeners to it. I don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah, that's definitely a struggle, like getting out to the audience and whatnot. And I'm still learning. I've been podcasting for, I want to say, like a year and a half. I started December 2017. I've been going since then, but it's a learning process. If I find out anything more, I'll definitely share it with
you. Google needle on the haystack, but I got the contact. It's out there on iTunes, Google. It's out there on Spotify. I go back and look at the analytics. So people still, I guess the more I tweet or the more I get in the news, somehow they start Googling me and they come around it, and then discover it. And then they hit me on Twitter and go, oh my God, this needs to be the blah, 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 blah. This needs to be Red Talk Table. This needs to be, and like, well, if it needs to be that, then it will speak it into existence. But right now, it's still making an impact, and I haven't been promoting it, tweeting about it, or Facebook, and it. I kind of like that. I always kind of wanted it to become a guilty pleasure for people, underground kind of thing, like didn't want to just blow up like the barbershop with LeBron James. Because it brings so much attention to it, and then you got to keep besting yourself.
Yeah.
I always wanted my podcast to be a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
People to be pissed off that it's been out there this long and they didn't know about it. And more, I wanted it to become a groundswell where it's like, oh, come on, man, when are you going to get back in the studio? Come on, don't do this to us. Give us more, give us more. It's not there yet, but I think in terms of me just living my authentic life, it'll push me back into that space, and it'll you're talking about it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were aware of it. So, I didn't even know that would be a part of the conversation today.
Hey. All right. So one of my last questions is, what advice would you give to, fans in the audience here that would love to either get into acting, directing, or, being active in the community to make changes in the way that you are? Like, what advice? I know it's a loaded question, but
it's tough. People ask me that question these days, and because of social media and YouTube and all the different avenues, you can make yourself special. You can put your self-worth out there, and just how it's a buyer's market. So new actors are just not getting paid.
Yeah,
money. When I was getting paid, when I started off as a guest star on television, it's long gone. They just don't pay. And that has to change because, again, the corporations are abusing their power.
Yeah.
They're figuring out, well, where is she going to go?
Yeah.
And if this guy or girl doesn't take it, someone else will. I don't know how that's going to change. I don't know how that's going to be busted up. It's been busted up before. But again, when things are struggle, there's economic violence in the country and the world, people tend to spend less.
Yeah.
They hold on to money.
Yeah. Well, all right. I got. I lied. I actually have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Did you have
become completely like pixelated? You look like a mosaic of yourself. I'll take a picture of this. I'm gonna take a picture of this and send this to you. This looks like I don't even know what this is. This is the craziest ish I've ever seen. It's really interesting, though.
I see it too. I don't know why it's doing that.
It's like I don't even know what that is. It looks like food.
It's like an old VHS tape that's damaged.
I don't really know what that is, man. Oh, damn. Just before I got my camera.
Well, the last real question I had was, did you have fun?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got some takeaways. You're a millennial, which makes it proves my theory that all millennials are not lazy, all millennials are not angry, all millennials are not out there just not wanting to listen to old heads like me or have respect for old heads like me. So now just what this conversation has done is just invigorated me to see how much more I can be of service to that conversation and give a voice to it. Because, I was in my 30s and I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I decided to become an actor at 23. But I had already been in the military and already been working in the private sector. So I had a midlife crisis at 23. So I can imagine the awkwardness and the stress and the concern when now you're pushing 30. You know what I mean? Family, whatever. You're trying to figure things out in life. So whatever I can do to kind of get back to that conversation, I'm here for it.
And I try to tell other people around my age and the younger generation coming up that no matter the obstacle, everything that comes at you, you can still, no matter what, you can overcome with hard work and dedication.
Always.
I'm 30 and I bought my first house. In Hawaii. People like, you can't afford a house in Hawaii. Bought a house, and it's nice area. It's big. When I was 26, I had colorectal cancer. I beat it in 2 years, and
awesome.
I'm just, I tell people never give up.
How did you discover you had that cancer? How did you know?
I started having a lot of abdominal pain, and then, it's something that my dad actually had went through it 10 years ago twice. Well, 15 years ago, and then a little 3-4 years after that, he had it again. And then my brother closest to me, because I'm the youngest of 5, but the brother that's closest to me in age, he's like 5-6 years older, he got it. And then I started having pains, and then I told my dad, and my dad's like, go get checked. It could be that. And then that's when I found out what it was. And then I went through the treatment, the chemo, all that, and it did a number. Like it's
genetic, but something is it anything you can stave off or be prevented with a holistic approach, or is it just genetic? Sounds like it's genetic.
I believe it's genetic. It's probably genetic. So, but
okay. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm all about Dr. Sebic.
Yeah,
I'm all about that. So if there's anything that we need to kill off, there's an herb for it.
Yeah,
I really. It's already growing on this planet, and that's how we need to get back to the old ways.
Yeah,
we've gotten so far from the old ways. We're killing ourselves. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, literally. I feel like
gotta get back to
if I'm able to get you back on, we could definitely dive into Dr. Sebi, because that's something I think more people need to know about him and his work, and a lot of people just aren't aware of it. It's funny, we're in a day and age with all this access to information, and so many people don't know a lot of things. It blows my mind.
Well, like I said, a lot of people are still ambitious.
Yeah.
They still want to be a part of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So look at someone that is on the outskirts of what that dream America is selling you, then you're not going to support it.
Yeah.
But that's the trick. I put a tweet out there the other day. It says, like, if someone says Isaiah Washington, oh no, you want to stay far away from that guy. Well, if they're saying that to you without having to know me, without having to Google me, they don't know me. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just another talking parrot.
Yeah.
They're talking shit, so to speak. They don't know why they're saying what they're saying. And if you ask them, have you spoken to him? Have you met him? No. I just read what I've read on the internet, what I've heard. That's so not free thinking. That is, you're a zombie at that point.
Yeah.
But it's not just me, but when you respond to stimuli like that, when you have no evidence and no facts, you're just told to dislike something. You're just told because. That's part of socialism.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Take your guns, take your mind, kill you.
Yeah. And they don't realize they're willingly doing that. They're walking to their own demise.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. kind of like sheep, sheep being fed. They don't know they're getting ready to get slaughtered. They have no idea. They're looking at the guy, oh, he's going to feed us. But he doesn't know he's fattening you up to kill you.
Yeah.
They have no idea. But that's maybe an extreme analogy, but that's kind of where the deadening of the mind has gone.
Yeah.
In a large part of our society. And the television is very much a part of keeping that happen. The radio, the frequency, social media, it's keeping people dumbed down, man.
Yeah.
Keeping them distracted. Get more excited about Cardi B being naked in video like we should give a F. Like that's the first celebrity we've seen talking crazy. Madonna did this in the 80s.
Yeah.
Erykah Badu walked naked in Dallas and got a ticket. I mean, this is not new. It's different variation of the same theme. Not new. I survived, the shock. People that was shocking. Dennis Rodman putting on a wedding dress, at the height of his career. Everybody was like, what was he gay? Is he straight? Is he, what the fuck? He's got on a wedding dress and all these earrings and his lips. It was so crazy that people just loved to watch.
Yeah.
And want to see if it would become a train wreck or not. It's just people strategically vying for attention that hopefully will turn into some form of capital gain, some kind of way. I'm not sure how, but a lot of people seem to manage. Like I remember Lady Gaga, she was always out, just the craziest stuff. But now she's not even doing all that crazy stuff, showing up in dresses made out of meat, all this stuff. But now, who doesn't know who Lady Gaga is? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart to be out there like that. Perez Hilton did it crazy. I mean, I feel like his whole career was built off of my back. You know what I mean? And talking about how he's for the gay community and still using the F word himself every chance he got. So people are starting to see this level of hypocrisy too.
Yeah.
You don't see it with me. After all this time, they haven't heard about any incidents, any drama with me other than what the media decides to do to take me out of context, if you notice.
Yeah.
If I say something about adapt and Chris Rock, he said, want people to adapt. Well, that's what you got to do now. You are actually going to adapt.
Yeah.
You got to figure out, as a millennial, I got to adapt. It's not working at Apple. It's not working at Microsoft. So I got to adapt. That's all adapt means is I got to go a different direction. Walk away. It's all about adapting.
Yeah.
So, but now people using the word on the low, and they tried to take my head off 4 years ago about using the word on Twitter, or I said something, well, you're going to wear weaves and you feel so bad about it, about you invest in more of it and find a way you can own the weaves. Oh, Wendy Williams took that out of context. Oh, he's attacking everybody with wigs and weaves. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, how can you monetize it? If you're going to spend that amount of time, you got to have it. You need it. You're not going to get in a pool. You're going to make all these sacrifices. How can you have ownership in it? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. And if it's causing so much pain, then we got to find out how to monetize that pain, turn that pain into power.
Yeah.
That's what I was totally taken out of context. So here it is now. I say something about 44 and 45. Taken out of context. And so I'm the poster boy to be taken out of context. And that's the narrative. That's the narrative. And none of it is true. Most of the things I'm saying is the truth. You just want to take it out of context and make it look like something that's really horrible. It's not. So keep taking me out of context, but I'm not going to stop until the Democrats are gone. Attack me for the last time in your liberal media. No. I can understand why, I get it, made a mistake, but I told the truth, believe it. I get it. But I wasn't fired. The man that was forced to let me go, I worked for him for 4 years at the CW network, Mark Meadows. And we laugh about it, So what people don't know and what they should know are two different things. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to know the truth. The lie is more fun. Yeah. Frustrations. I can wallow in my emotions. I can go, look at that asshole. Oh, he fucking up. Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not. I live well.
I was supposed to say.
I'm gonna get off of this with you and go smoke me a really nice come out your cigar. That's some really cool food. Ain't nobody knocking on my door talking about open up ATF. I don't have any pit bulls or Rottweilers to protect my investments. Hey man, life is good. I don't know what you heard, but I'm here talking to you. It's all good, man. But hey, man, congratulations, man. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulating you on bouncing back from your personal health. Try to find some other holistic ways to put more things in your body. I have a good colon therapist. I make sure I go get my colon therapy on. So colon is a thing that you got to take care of. And
yeah.
I try to watch what I eat. I do drink, bourbon here and there. I do smoke cigars. I do the best I can. I do have my vices, but I do other things too to make sure, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
You are what you eat, and you are what you're reading and looking at and thinking.
Yeah.
So we got to get better about self-care. Self-care is important. Have a good one, man. I'm out.
Did you enjoy this episode of the Kasanova Podcast? Well, I hope you did. And if you did, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what we can improve upon, what you liked, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff. And just make sure you always have a good time. That being said, this is your boy Mekel Casanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I am signing out, and I'll catch you on the next episode.